And the next activity you can do to help your kids with counting, it's just this comes with your materials, but you could use any number line. You could use the number line that's in your classrooms as well. A lot of times the number line just becomes a decorative piece. You know, it's up there, but we don't use it that often. So this is a way to really utilize what you have to. So you could go ahead and just have students go ahead and take a number line and just 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, or if you're teaching them to count backwards, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, and so on. So the number line that you have goes all the way up to 110. This one's obviously, I just didn't put the whole thing together, but that's what that one looks like, okay. Another activity you can do with the number line is you can go ahead and screen or cover up numbers and then ask your students questions about them and say, okay, what number is this? And we're all looking at it and we say, we know it's 13. This is where you can develop some very important language. So we know it's 13. Well, how can we prove that it's 13? Well, I know that 13 comes after 12 and it comes before 14. We're looking at 17 right here. How do I know that's 17? Well, because I know that 16 comes before 17 and I know that 17 comes after 16. I know that 17 comes before 18. So developing that language. Another activity that you can do, and this is what a lot of people like to do because counting by tens is so hard for kids, especially when kids are learning to count by tens. Leaving those single digit numbers, jumping into the teens. It's like a language thing, like, 6, 16, 26. A lot of kids struggle with that. So what this is called a 10 catcher. And what you can do is it shows kids, it jumps 10 for them. So if you're at 8 and we jump 10, it goes to 18. Or if we are at, say, 17 and we jump 10, it would go to 27. So this is called a 10 catcher. And again, this is with your number lines that you receive for your, that's in your materials. Another activity that has to do with number lines is this. And this comes in your materials. And this is a blank number line. I'm going to show you how it works, okay? So this just has the decade numbers on it. And who thinks they know what number this would be on? So take a look at where that's at. And what number would this be on? And say, all right, let's take a look. And I think it's 60 or maybe 70. And let's take a look. And it is on 70. And this is a really good tool too, because what it does, if you think about what this is, it helps them with visualization, sort of that spatial relationship. Think about what fractions is. Fractions is parts of, what falls between 0 and 1. This is obviously 0 and 100, but it teaches them sort of that estimation and understanding where parts will fall when you can't see them, because that's what fractions is. Let's do another one. Okay, what number would this be? And let's take a look, and you're all probably thinking, I think that's probably 40, and let's take a look, and that is definitely 40. And that's definitely a first grade, like a first grade one for sure. Now this one would be one that you could use with second graders, because in almost every state, second grade was where you either cross 1,000 a little bit or go exactly up to 1,000. So this is what the 1,000 one looks like. The first time you use this, many kids are going to say, oh, I know that one, that's 40. Why will they think that's 40? Because that's where 40 fell when it was 100, but now it's 1,000. So you'd say, okay, let's take a look. This is actually 400. Because think, instead of 100 missing numbers, there's now 1,000. Say 40 would actually be somewhere probably about half is 50 right there. I'd say 40 would be somewhere probably right about right there. So you could go ahead and show your students that way too. So that's another really good tool that you can use. And again, if you think about this, if you kind of think of connecting it to fractions, like numerators and denominators, the larger denominator, the more pieces you have. And think about this, though this is not a denominator, the larger number you have, the smaller the pieces get on the same thing. So if we take a look comparing it, the pieces were much bigger on this one when we were doing 100 compared to 1,000.